take a walk on the woo-woo side with me. My name is Michelle Douglas and I am an intuitive healer, transformation coach, and advanced soul realignment practitioner, amongst other things. I am on a mission to empower you to make the right soul-aligned choices so that you can create all of the health, wealth, love, happiness, and success that you desire in your life. If the content in today's episode resonates with you, be sure to visit findmysparkle.com or selfconfidence101.com. See you there. Hello, it's Michelle here, and today we're going to be talking about whether past life injuries can affect you now. So past life injuries are an interesting one because what I've learned through the many past life regressions that I've facilitated is that they can absolutely affect you in your current life. So for the purpose of explaining this concept, I'm going to use my gorgeous husband as my living example because I've taken him through this process many times and it seems he has this thing about his left shoulder. So my husband's had many past lives where his left shoulder was injured, I believe. Like I've covered a few of them, but really interesting. So what I'm going to do is go through each of those past life injuries and what happened. Okay, so past life injury number 1 was the arrow. So during the first past life regression I took him through, he was taken to a scene on a beach. He was dressed like in Roman type attire and he was carrying a painful injury in his left shoulder, which happens to be the same shoulder he has issues with now. Funny that, hey? During this regression, he explained to me that he'd been shot with the arrow in the shoulder, and it turns out he was deceived by like a queen-like figure at the time, and he had people coming after him, one of whom shot him in the shoulder with a bow and arrow. So Laurie had broken the arrow off, and the point of the arrow was still underneath the now healed skin, but it obviously gave him a whole lot of pain. Now, given I'm an energy practitioner, during this regression, his actual guides or higher self stepped in and said, we need you to conduct this clearing for Laurie during this session, which I did, which is kind of new for me. I wasn't expecting that, but did as I was told. And after the session, he actually felt a little bit less pain in that shoulder. The next one was a cord in the shoulder. So it's not an injury as such, but during one of his regressions, his guides came in and explained that he had a cord in the left shoulder, which was causing him grief in this lifetime. So we managed to pull that cord out and throw it away sort of thing, or send it into the light, so to speak, which is what we often do in this sort of thing. Next one, more arrows. So in another past life, he was part of an army and had been shot 3 times on the left side of his chest with 3 arrows. And he died at around age 30 from this injury. So yeah, he liked getting shot, this fella. And then we had the last one that I'm going to talk about is swords. So in this life, this particular life that we found Laurie in, he was a samurai type figure and he was leading an army. Now, as he got older, he ended up becoming a teacher, so for new warriors, and was referred to as sensei, which is really interesting because he's a black belt in judo now, and that's what his students call him. So funny that. So in this particular life, he sustained several injuries to his left shoulder where his students had cut him with their swords by accident during training. So in this life, thankfully, there have been no arrows or swords, although he was once a policeman and suffered some interesting injuries from that. But he did sustain a major shoulder injury, left shoulder, after a car hit his stationary vehicle at 100 kilometres an hour. So he was on the freeway and traffic was stopped and the driver that hit him wasn't paying attention, smacked into the back of him. So his shoulder was so badly broken, it had to be repaired with a metal cable to keep the joint attached to the socket. Ugh. This is all before I met him too, by the way. So this is quite a few years ago, and although he's always had limited movement, he suffers a lot less pain now than what he did back then since doing all these healings and regressions and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's been really interesting. So just to talk quickly about past life regressions, if you've ever had one before, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's an incredible experience. And I just had to learn how to facilitate these sessions myself after having my first one. I thought, I've got to learn how to do this, but I just didn't know how to learn because there were so many requirements about how much experience you had to have beforehand in hypnotherapy, that sort of thing. But thankfully, I found a teacher that not only taught me how to do clinical hypnotherapy, but also past life and between life regressions as well. And those two types of sessions are actually the majority of what I do. I very rarely do the other stuff. This one's way more fun too. But so what we do, we actually look at exploring past lives and the bits between lives as well. So if you're wanting to know more about past life regressions or the between lives regressions and what they involve, I do have a link in the show notes that you can click on to go and have a look at the past life regression therapy page. Or you can reach out, contact me, up to you. And I will also provide a link to the testimonials from one of my clients as well, from one of my hypnotherapy clients that I had quite some time ago. But yeah, she had a great experience after not being able to be hypnotized before. So yeah, if you don't think you can be hypnotized, it's possible that there's hope. Anywho, I will leave you with that and let's chat soon.